She felt a sharp pain below her pelvis. Chioma told her that it was normal, that she would be fine, but the pain persisted. This time around, it was severe. She started bleeding and vomiting blood. Chioma screamed for help, and everybody in the hostel gathered. This is the story of a girl named Amaka. Amaka was a vision of beauty and intelligence, with deep brown eyes that sparkled with determination. She lost her father, a kind-hearted man who had worked tirelessly to provide for his family, in a tragic accident when she was just 9 years old. The loss had been a crushing blow, leaving her and her mother, Nnenna, to navigate a world suddenly filled with hardship and sorrow. Nnenna, her mother, worked long hours in the village market selling fruits and vegetables, determined to ensure that Amaka's education continued. "Your father had big dreams for you," she would often remind Amaka, "and I know you will make him proud." Amaka excelled in school, her natural brilliance shining through despite the obstacles. Her teachers often marveled at her quick understanding, and her classmates looked up to her. One day, an announcement was made that the regional academic competition was approaching, and the school needed a representative. Amaka was selected to represent her school. She went to the competition and won. She was given a full scholarship to the best university in the country, a beacon of hope amidst the darkness that had clouded their lives since her father's death. Nnenna, her mother, was very happy. Her eyes was filled with tears as she embraced her daughter. "I knew you would make me proud," she said, hugging her tightly. As months passed, Nnenna made preparations for Amaka's departure to the university. The day Amaka left for school, her mother, Nnenna, advised her to concentrate in her studies and never to join bad companies. Amaka promised her mother that she would excel in her studies and return home to lift them out of poverty. Her mother then prayed for her and she left. At the university, Amaka's brilliance continued to shine. She majored in engineering, a field dominated by men, and soon became one of the top students in her class. She joined various clubs and societies, eager to learn and grow in every possible way. Despite the challenges of city life and the rigors of her studies, Amaka never forgot her promise. She calls her mother frequently, sharing her experiences and assuring her that she was doing everything possible to make her proud. One afternoon, as Amaka sat in her class reading, she got a phone call from her mother's doctor saying that her mom has been diagnosed with breast cancer and she needed to come back home. Amaka was speechless. She packed her books and then left the class. The following day, early in the morning, Amaka left school and returned home. When she got home, she went straight to the hospital where her mom was. Amaka's mother, Nnenna, was already unconscious. She did not even notice that Amaka was there. Amaka wept bitterly, calling her mother's name, but Nnenna couldn't respond. The doctor explained everything to her and told her that they needed to perform an urgent operation on her before it's too late. Amaka felt the weight of the world pressing down on her. She remembered her father's death and how her mom worked tirelessly to cater for her. She couldn't stop crying. "Where will I start from?" she lamented. "The money is too much. Who will help me? I can't lose my mom. She's the only thing I have. I'm just a poor girl with no father. What do I do now?" Few hours later, Amaka consoled herself and left the hospital to seek for help. She went from house to house, called some of her friends, her teachers in school, and she managed to get a little amount of money from them. She went to her father's brother, Uncle Joe, and explained her mom's condition to him. He accepted to help her out, only if she is willing to sacrifice her dignity in exchange. Amaka was so devastated and heartbroken by her uncle's betrayal. She returned to the hospital begging the doctor to commence treatment on her mother, but the doctor refused, insisting that she must at least deposit half of the amount needed for the treatment. Days passed, there was no help, and her mother's condition was getting worse. Amaka began to consider her uncle's request. "I can't let my mom die," she said with tears rolling down her cheeks. "I would rather sell my dignity than watch my mom die slowly." That evening, she rushed to her uncle's house. When her uncle saw her, he said, "Have you made up your mind?" Amaka replied, "I'm doing this in order to save my mom's life. I hope you will give me the money. Please don't disappoint me." Her uncle smiled at her and said, "When I say something, I mean it." The following morning, Amaka returned to the hospital with more than the amount needed. She paid for the surgery and the doctor commenced treatment. Fortunately, the surgery was successful. Amaka was super excited and relieved. 6 hours later, Amaka's mom started complaining about heart pain. The pain was too severe that she couldn't breathe well. Amaka rushed out to call the doctor. When she came with the doctor, her mom was no longer breathing. The doctor went to her mom, examined her and said to Amaka, "We are sorry. There is nothing we can do again. Your mom is dead." At first, she didn't cry. She just stood there, staring at her mom's face, hoping against hope that it was a dream. That any moment now, her mom would sit up, smile, and everything would go back to normal. When she finally touched her mom's hand, it was cold and stiff. That was when the reality hit her. Her legs buckled and she fell to the floor. The nurses rushed to her side, but their presence was just a blur. All she could see was her mother, lifeless and still. Amaka wept bitterly. Everything she did in order to save her mom's life, including sleeping with her uncle, was all in vain. Amaka returned to the university after her mom's burial. 3 weeks later, she found out she was pregnant for her uncle. Amaka became so confused and frustrated. What am I going to do now? What have I gotten myself into? She kept asking herself questions. If I decide to keep this baby, I will lose my scholarship. Should I abort this child? I have not done abortion before. Oh God, help me. I'm finished. She was so confused, and then she decided to tell one of her roommates, Choma, to know if she could give her advice. She explained everything to Choma, and Choma advised her to get rid of the baby. She went to a pharmacist and bought an abortion pill for Amaka. As soon as Amaka took the pill, she felt a sharp pain below her pelvis. Choma told her that it was normal, that she would be fine, but the pain persisted. This time around, it was severe. She started bleeding and vomiting blood. Choma screamed for help, and everybody in the hostel gathered. They rushed Amaka to the hospital, but before they could reach the hospital gate, Amaka died. What did you learn from this story? Please comment down below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.